Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys,
Hi,
welcome back to the Midnight Showing. I'm Dan Connors.
and I'm Bayless Sunnycliff.
This episode, we just got back from John Wick. Is it the full title? John Wick 3?
Parabellum.
Caribbean.
I don't know.
But is the 3 included?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
John
is,
Wick
right?
3.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
Parabellum. That's the full title.
That's it. Why would you include the 3 though?
Why would you not? What? Since when did they not include the 3? Incredibles
But
2?
if you're adding no. But if you're adding the other word of the title, why leave in the 3? Like usually, if it's
I
if
see
it's a
what you're
sequel,
saying now.
they drop the 3 and just name it something else.
I think because they really wanted people to know, it's one of those franchises where they want people to know that it's the third installment of it, but then they also were like, wait, we have such a killer line for this movie, we have to put Parabellum in the title.
Because was the second one wasn't named anything, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
I thought it was just 2.
I was gonna say it was John Wick something instead of John Wick 2. I mean, if it was on Monday, I think they did the same thing with the second one.
Say your thoughts. I'll look it up.
I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of the movie or the franchise, the series, right? I don't think you've seen any of the other two.
Yeah, I saw the other 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I figured you hadn't.
It's just John Wick Chapter 2.
Oh, so there is a
that's
2.
even worse.
That
though.
is worse. Yeah.
John Wick Chapter 2, and John Wick 3 Parabellum.
That's really stupid. Yeah, that's really dumb. Because instead of it being like that's stupid.
Wait, is it Parabellum?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a hyphen.
Oh my god.
Okay, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum.
I am stunned. That is incredible. See, that's where they knew the second one had that flavor to it, but then they're like, we really want to put Parabellum in the title. We have to do it.
Yeah, I saw the other 2.
Okay. Well, I'm a pretty big fan of the first one especially. Second one was okay. It was good, but it wasn't as...
It was just more of the first one.
Well, see, that's the thing is that my favorite part of the first one was that they build him up. It takes us such a long time. There's like this like, emotion to it, and then it shows this man devolving, quote unquote, devolving into this murderer, right? Assassin, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. And then the second half of the first movie was okay because it was basically just him hunting a rat, But it was all right. But the second one was pretty good because it didn't have like the garbage half part that the other one had. I don't know.
You just said the first part. You said the first half of the first one was better.
The first half of the first one was the best part of this franchise.
But then you just said
But
it
then
didn't
I said
have the garbage beginning part.
No, I meant... Okay, yeah, I did say that. What I meant is that I didn't have the garbage that came from the first one, which was the second half of the first one. Okay,
Jeez.
This is my ordering of it, okay? Well, I don't want to order it too much, but I love the first half of the first movie goes on top. Then the second and third movie go, and then the second half of the first movie. There we go. That's my tier list.
That's so weird. Okay. Okay, well, what'd you think of John Wick Chapter 3? John Wick Chapter 3 dash hyphen Parabellum. The third. Wait, what movie did we do that for?
I know, right?
There was a running joke about that.
Yeah. I was trying to think of that myself.
Oh, it was a Lego Movie 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was Lego Movie 2, the second part, or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know. It was a good movie. It was really incredible how they pulled off, what happens in the beginning, right? Because the beginning leaves off at a very big... Well, the last movie left off at a huge cliffhanger of him being basically, burn noticed or whatever that is, where it's like, yeah, he's gonna die, and you think that because he has no guns. I didn't really... The first fight scene with that guy when he was using that book, the dude who was like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I saw he's an NBA basketball player.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read that, yeah.
Did he want to be in the film, or did they ask if he...
I don't know.
Like, did they try to enlist a basketball player?
Yeah, they were probably looking for some. I wouldn't be surprised.
They definitely
wanted,
intentionally
like, a big
chose him
guy.
for the height, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about it was that it was just a bad scene. There's the fight scene was really lackluster. There was a lot of over the effects, sound effects, and it just didn't make much sense. I don't know. For this series, I think this series does a lot to try and like be realistic, because
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the fighting techniques are actually done in you know, martial arts, as well as, you know, a lot of the tactical stuff that you see John Wick doing is actually stuff that's trained by, like, you know, SEALs and stuff that do
Yeah.
that. So it often tries to be way more realistic, at least comparatively to the rest of the industry of
Action movie.
action movies, right? So it was just confusing to me, because I thought that, like, why would he beat the hell out of him with a book?
It's just a weapon.
I mean, yeah, but why not just punch his face instead of punching him through the book? Wouldn't that hurt your hand more? Right? Like, you're holding the book up to his head and then punching the book to hurt him.
But
just punch his face.
I think it's like, well, I bet that would hurt your hand less, because you're hitting a cheekbone. Like, people break their hands all the time punching people.
Maybe.
Like, I feel like almost like the surface tension would hurt your hand less and hurt their face more. Plus, like, it has like a harder like edge to it, like the what are those called? The ridges of a book called, like the
Spines.
Yeah, like when you hit somebody in the face with that, like, it's gonna hurt more than a punch.
I understood when he was grabbing it and bashing
Yeah.
him with it. That made sense. But I didn't make much sense was where that one part where he's beating it, because it looked like an old book that had like
Well, it's the one that he used. Thing.
ridges on the front
Which,
of it.
if
right?
anything, that means it was hollowed out, so it wasn't even that dense of a book.
Yeah, so shouldn't he have punched through the book cover?
Yeah. Well, and even then, even just hitting him with it, it's
Yeah.
less dense and heavy than a full book. Like a
So I
full
guess
page.
that makes more sense now that we put it in that context. 'Cause I don't think that I think that the inertia with the book, the full book, would have been really dampening to the effect of the punch. So I guess, yeah, since it was a hollowed out book, I can understand it a lot more. Okay. I don't know.
I thought it was cool. That I mean, I thought it was one of the best.
You would.
Yeah. I thought it was one of the best ones. But, well, okay. I guess I'll say my piece with the movie.
Okay.
I hated it. The whole thing, like, start to finish, I was unbelievably bored. Like, unbelievably bored.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I was bored in places too.
Okay, don't click off. Like, don't.
Yeah.
Don't just leave because I said that. No, it was just like, it's unnecessary, over the top, drawn out violence. Like,
So, what did you think the other two movies were about?
I know I liked those ones. I don't know why this was any different. It felt more hollow.
See,
Like, the other two felt more story, like, to it, and this one was just like, I get the whole point. Like, that's the whole point, is like, oh, literally everybody's out to kill him, and
Yeah.
that's the point. But I don't know. To me, that's not enough story to just get behind it, where it's just 120 minutes of just straight action. So I would just get so bored during all these scenes, because it's like 15 minutes of just like, okay, yes,
yeah.
the choreography is beautiful, the cinematography is beautiful, the visuals are beautiful, but like, why does it have to be 15 minutes of the same thing
Yeah.
over and over again, and then a break for like 10, and then just 15 more minutes of just non-stop fighting?
No, I totally get you.
So I just got so bored.
I mean, especially at the end. Right? The end was ridiculous. You
Yeah,
know,
they just
these
kept
two
throwing
guys,
out.
these two guys with fucking karambit knives are running over, and then like everyone's like jerking John Wick off, being like, "Oh, it's an honor to fight with you, sir."
Yeah.
And then they're all talking about how he's old and slow, but he's John Wick. Oh, and then and then they save him, like pull 5 punches. They're like, "Oh, we won't kill you. Oh, we won't kill you. Oh, come on, John Wick,
Yeah.
hurt us." And then he like beats the hell out of him, and he's like, "All right, see you guys."
That's why that even the comedy wasn't funny to me, because it's that kind of movie trope of like the big bad villain like telling his secret plan,
Yeah.
like, as like the hero is having time to like save himself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it just felt like that over and over again, where like it wasn't funny because it was just so over the top of just like, what is even happening? Like,
Yeah.
just stab him, like,
Yeah.
end of story.
Here's what I'll say about this movie. I liked it because what we see in the first movie is we see who John Wick is, right? That's what we see, and we see the beginning of what this industry is, right? Second one was fantastic, and it expanded upon what we already knew, by really talking about the underground, right? All of the moving pieces and the high table. That's what we get introduced to, and we're like, wow, this is a huge industry, right? And there's so much reach, right, of these people. And it ends with him betraying the one rule that us as a viewer know as the, like it's the one rule that we know of the Continental, right? Is that you don't murder anybody on Continental grounds, right? The first one we saw like a little bit of like slap on the wrist kind of thing when that girl was trying to do business on the Continental, but then we saw what happens when you actually do it, and how even though he's friends with the manager, and then this third one was there to show what happens when you go against the high table, right? To introduce these things. And so I respect this movie, but I agree that the scenes didn't have as much impact because there wasn't an immediate, like, reason. I mean, here's the biggest thing, okay? And here's my biggest issue with the movie, is that we come into this saying that the high table has just, called a rule, and, like... So he's going around, and we're seeing all of these people, like... say, oh my god, you know what the high table would do to me if they found out I helped you, John?
And
then guess what they do? They help him.
Yeah.
Oh wow, what the hell? And then they're surprised that they get beaten up, bloodied, killed. And then I'm surprised that. Did you think Seven Strikes is gonna live?
Well, I did when they
Matrix looking guy.
He is from.
I know.
He was the best part of this movie to me. I could have had a whole movie with just
okay.
Lawrence Fishburne just like talking in this movie. Like, I thought he was the coolest character because he actually felt like he was like an actual rogue kind of thing. The way he was just standing up to what's her name?
Yeah.
The adjudicator, and then he just kind of takes it, and then right at the very end when he like comes back and he's like, the whole Long of the King, like he had like a real ego, and he's like, I don't care about you guys, like I'm fine if I get kicked out.
Yeah.
Like he was the most interesting part to me because he was so like it felt like he had like a plan to build his own kind of thing, which is what it feels like, especially at the end. Which I thought it was only a trilogy. I thought that was the plan of these movies, is that it's a trilogy and that's it. But then like now it's a cliffhanger of that. Now the two of them are gonna come back.
I guarantee you it's because they did so well in the first two.
I heard the plan. I don't know where I heard it. I heard that it was a trilogy, and that was it. So I thought that's why I thought this was the end. So that's what I was expecting. Anyways, I thought that he was gonna live when they said you get 7 cuts.
Really?
And then, because I thought it was just gonna be like the lady with the hands or the sword through her hands.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just gonna be like maiming kind of thing, and then the way that the Japanese guy cut, I was like, oh, that guy's definitely dead.
Yeah.
Like when they just said 7 cuts, I thought it was just gonna be like slice up his chest or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he actually did it, and it's like, oh, that looked like it went straight through him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was surprised when he came back. But when they first said it, I thought he'd live. Then I thought he would die. And then he came back, and he looked like pretty healthy. Like,
way too healthy than he should be.
They almost kind of should have just like gave him like a Nick Fury scar, like right over the eye, and then have like an eye patch or something. Like make it more like
he had
really
one
damaged.
Across his head.
But I mean, like make it look like he's actually really damaged, like he lost an eye or something.
Yeah.
Like then it's sold a little more that he really suffered instead of just like having some band-aids on his face. I mean, he obviously couldn't walk very well, but
and he said, you look as bad as I feel.
Yeah. It seems like they could have gone a little more like, impactful with that instead of just having him turn back.
Maybe.
What were you saying before Bird Guy?
I just found it ridiculous how all these people were helping him. It's like he just got like excommunicated, and everyone's like, "Do you know what kind of trouble I'd be if they found me?" Then they let him help. The
only one that really made sense was the ballet lady, because it was like that was a arranged deal where he had the ticket and like she was going through with it. Yeah. So that one made sense, but like the other people, I guess the doctor kind of made sense too, because he stopped as soon as it like hit. Yeah. Kind of thing.
Which I loved that part. I'm gonna admit I hated the fucking reactions to that.
Oh, in our
in our theater, like he gets shot once, and everyone's like, "Oh!"
Yeah, people thought it was the funniest thing.
And then he's like, "This one's probably not gonna be enough. Just hit me right."
Yeah. Like it was obvious it was coming.
Yeah, like, it's like, and everyone. I mean, it was supposed to be a slightly funny part, but not one that everyone's howling at in a theater.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was funny to them that it was like, well, the joke was that he did it unexpectedly. Like,
Yeah,
the
he
doctor
did it
didn't-
suddenly.
The doctor didn't finish his sentence.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be the joke. But yeah, like, people laughed a little kind of hard in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, it's kind of weird to, like, sit and, I'm not on a soapbox or anything like that, but it was kind of weird to just have people, like, howling laughter
Yeah.
at, like, intense violence.
Yeah.
Like, it felt really weird. And, like, I mean, I don't really cringe at most of that
Yeah.
violence and stuff, but, like, I'm not on a soapbox saying, like, you're, weird if you laughed at it. I was just saying, like, it felt weird for our whole theater to be howling laughing at it.
My favorite part of that instance was when he took the axe.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
double-handed threw it across the room and it hit the guy in the head and the guy was like, "Oh man!" Like something like that.
Like, that was a cool part.
That was really
but I wouldn't
cool.
laugh at it.
Like
Like-
I'd probably laugh at it, just the ridiculousness of let's be honest. What is the odds that I don't know, maybe if you're skilled at axe throwing.
Yeah.
But who practices axe
John
throwing?
Wick.
John Wick doesn't have time to practice axe
Jason
throwing.
Momoa. He's famous for that.
I have no idea who Jason Momoa is.
Aquaman.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
He axe throws.
Yeah. He's, like, famous for axe throwing.
Really?
Yeah, he did. I think he did it in Game of Thrones, and then he does it in it's like a Netflix show, Frontier, or something like that. And he just does it on his spare. Like, he has an axe throwing range in his house where he just throws axes.
It just seems unsafe to do it inside
it's
your
like
house.
tomahawks or whatever. If you want to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
technical,
yeah.
but
Like hatchets. Okay, I see.
Yeah, I love that book. But
Shout out to our sponsor.
shout out Gary Paulson.
Yeah, for sponsoring this. No, he
Is he
didn't
still
sponsor it.
alive?
He has to be. He's not that old.
He wrote that book when we were young.
Yeah, but we're not that old.
Yeah, but he might have been old when he wrote it.
I think he was like 60 when he wrote it.
What if he was like 30 and we just said he was super old
Yeah.
and probably dead? Like,
It just seems like one of those books that you read as a biography and is it
autobiography is
Yeah.
when you write it yourself.
Yeah, so it's
about
like
yourself.
pseudo
But then
autobiography.
Yeah, then it wouldn't be an autobiography because it'd have to be Hatchet, the Gary Paulson story, or something.
Look,
What if I'm totally wrong about that? What if it isn't even Gary Paulson? Like, I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. Did you read the sequel?
I really wanted to.
I didn't read the sequel. I don't remember what it was.
There's 3 of them.
It seemed weird to me. This is just a book show now. But
Yeah.
it was just weird to me that, like, I don't know if it's about the same kid, but that'd be weird if it
Yeah.
just happened.
So
3
what
times
happens in
a row.
the second one is that he goes. So everyone's like stunned that he lived, right? And that it's a super cool thing. And I think what happens is that they go out with a camera and a camera guy
That's so
to
super
show
weird.
kind of what he did and like how he survived. Maybe do a little bit like on their own. You know, it was gonna be like a whole thing where they just were like,
Yeah.
let's just roll with it,
That's
see what happens.
The
you know?
only thing I really remember about that book is that's when I learned about what water refraction is. Because he talks about trying to catch a fish with a spear, but he has to learn what refraction is.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
The fish isn't where the spear is going. Anyways, John Wick.
Great movie.
Is there a Hatchet movie? I don't think there's a Hatchet
There
movie.
shouldn't be.
Okay, John Wick. Yeah, especially those first 2 scenes, the book one was cool, and then it just led right into the Japanese guys in the knife hall museum or something. Where you're talking about the hatchet, that whole thing.
Oh, you mean the whole mirror, the glass place? Yeah, where with the karambit knives and they spared him.
No. The very beginning.
Okay.
There was the book fight, and then it goes right into him running, and then he goes up that stairway, and then the Japanese guys fight. Literally right where you're talking about, with the hatchet throw. That whole fight.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
No, like, that one is just, that was very, very long, and it was right after the book fight. And it was just,
it was a little, it was realistic, because that's what you'd be expecting.
But you're in, like, a knife hall museum.
Yeah. The only funny part, I thought that was actually funny, is that they both notice, they're both looking over each other's heads, and they see that they have knives behind them, and then they both realize, wait a second. And then they look to their
and that's what I was
them.
saying about the third. It felt like the first, and maybe the second. I don't remember the second as much, but it seemed to, like you said, take on the realism a little more. Like he has to use what's around him, kind of assassin.
Yeah.
Thing. And this was just like
give him knives,
yeah.
a knife museum.
It's just they're always in the right place at the right time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that fight was way too long. They were all way too long for me.
Yeah, they were all really long.
But that one was really long. And then...
Especially for being, like, skirmishes, you know?
It's not even serious people. Those were just random people that were on it for the money.
Like, you know, gosh, the first scene, the only scene in the first one that was, like, incredible, even though it was long, was when they initially raided his house. Which made sense, you know? But, like, that was a planned thing, and you knew, us, the viewer, knew it was going to happen, right? As soon as he said, I'll get my best guys, you know? Blah, blah, blah. We knew it was going to be a long thing, because they came in with, like, 20 guys. But this one was, like, how many Chinese guys are going to come out of this, like, you know, stairwell, you know? And how many knives do you have to stick into a guy before he stops?
Yeah, he had to throw like 18 knives.
That
was just ridiculous.
Like, I am pretty sure he stuck some guy with 10 knives, and then he still kept getting up.
He kept getting up, yeah. And it wasn't until the head is when he finally just laid down, you know.
And it's like, listen, okay, I get it. Maybe move out of that room. I don't want to keep seeing John Wick.
That's what I'm talking about. It's the same thing for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the choreography is incredible. Like, I give him credit for the choreography and the cinematography.
In that scene, I wasn't...
for what it is, I can't do that. But for what it is, like, cinematography and the fight scenes, like, the choreography of the fight scenes and the cinematography of the fight scenes are incredible. That's the whole point that John Wick got popular.
Yeah.
This franchise.
It was realistic,
like,
and it was very...
When it just goes on for that long... Like,
it's just not interesting anymore.
Well, and
it's tiring.
I compare these a lot. All I can think of when I watch these movies, and I don't mean to compare like other movies, but like it just feels like a worse story told. I don't know the correct grammar for that, but like just a worse version of Jason Bourne. Like I love the Jason Bourne movies, and those feel very like full of real story and consequences. They keep saying consequences in this. But this franchise feels so much just like, let's just throw as much action as possible in. And to me, Jason Bourne is a lot more like story driven. Like, something happened and he's trying to find the answers.
This really needs a little bit more of that.
Yeah, because that's what I mean.
Because the first one was incredible because you had this whole backstory of this guy, right? And you were learning about this world.
And that's what Bourne was like.
Which was cool.
The first one.
But this one was just like, oh, this is the high table. This is what they do to people.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's a guy above the high table. And then it's like, he goes to him and he's like, cut your finger off for me and kill this guy and I'll forgive you.
I didn't like that finger thing.
Yeah, it was boring. And now we're going to have to watch a movie with him not having a finger.
It doesn't make much sense. Like, why would you
do that?
Yeah, like, I don't know. It was weird. But yeah, like, to me...
It was kind of funny, the quip that, you know, when he's like, oh, they made you cut off your finger. That sucks. And then he flips him off at the end with the pigeon guy.
Oh, yeah.
That was funny. I thought that was good.
But yeah, I don't know. They just feel like worse.
I haven't seen Jason Bourne films, so.
The trilogy, there's 5. But the main trilogy, I'm guessing that's what they're doing with this, basically. There was a plan for a 3 trilogy, and then they just went off with it. Like, there's been another 2, one with a different guy, and then one with Matt Damon again. But the original trilogy are super, super good because he's like an actual... That's what I like better about them is it feels more realistic than this. You know, this is a high society type thing. Bourne is more like he's like an actual ex-government assassin and he's trying to take down that kind of system because he doesn't remember what they did to him. And so it's just like it feels super real, like an actual spy agent guy. He's going all over the world like trying to find all these answers about who he was. He didn't remember like his memory and stuff. It just felt more real. And I know people praise John Wick's action for being real, but to me, Bourne felt really, really real.
See, I think that you're talking about the story being real, right? Like the story in Jason Bourne sounds way more realistic.
Yeah, that too.
But the action, I think, the thing that people give praise for the realism in John Wick is that they have people, you know, what are they called? Where, you know, he has a cut on his arm one scene, and then the next scene, someone makes sure that he has that cut, or it shows that if they...
continuity.
Yeah, continuity, right? They do a lot of that, especially mostly with the obvious one, gunshots.
Yeah, ammo.
How many shots can he take before he reloads, right? If a guy reacts too weird, then they have to retake the shot and say, oh, no, you need to only take 2 bullet shots.
But then it's just like... Yeah, okay, so praise for they count their ammo or whatever like that. Wasn't there a scene was it the first one where he counts it? He only has like so many bullets or something?
It's the second one, he has 7 bullets.
Yeah, like that's actual realism. But this one is just like, yes, they we see them switching ammo, but it's like they're firing like 7 bullets into people. Like
I mean, this one was that whole
like they just were unloaded.
We're gonna
like the Halle Berry fight with the dogs in Morocco or whatever.
that was
like,
badass.
Oh
that
my,
was cool.
No, it was so long. It was like 20 minutes of just like shooting people. It felt like a Call of Duty
Yeah, but
Zombies,
remember that time when he bit the guy's dick? Oh my god, that
why
was
were
awesome.
there so many crotch shots in this movie?
Yeah.
Like kicking, punching, dog biting, shooting. Like, what? I get it's realism. Like it would work, but like, why do we need 26 like crotch shots over and over and over?
Because
again?
men need to be
Oh
taken
my
down
God.
out of them.
But it's just like the Halle Berry fight when they're in that little courtyard thing. It actually felt like a video game zombies like
Yeah.
wave. You know, it's just they wouldn't stop coming. And it was just
And they were
people.
stupid. They just kept walking into him. Like, hey, I'll take 2 shots, 3
Yeah.
shots at him while they're behind cover, and then after they've reloaded, I'll just walk out aimlessly.
I liked the addition of the dogs though, but it felt like they could have done a lot more in that fight. Like
The dog should have died. The dog should. I know no one
When?
likes that. The dog got shot with a bullet.
it was a bulletproof dog vest.
Oh wow, he happens to hit the
Do
like.
they make?
No, they don't. They happen to make. He happened to shoot him in the 30% of the dog that was fucking armored. Are you kidding me? Isn't this guy a part of this society where they know how to shoot people? Doesn't this guy shot somebody before, right?
Yeah, but it seems kind of like quick kind of thing. Like he wasn't aiming for the dog's
Maybe
head.
he subconsciously didn't want the dog to die because he
But I'm
wanted
saying
the dog
either way,
so
in
much.
that fight, like the dogs only really attacked when she called them to, for the most part. Like when
And
it
only the
felt like-
crotches.
it felt like they could have gone like absolutely wild with the dog. I mean, it's probably budget and like training.
Well, the
in real
thing
life,
is
but,
that dogs when trained for missions like that are trained to hold people down while you shoot them.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is like it felt like they could have gone more wild with it.
Okay,
Like-
the dog jumps off of her back up
Yeah,
onto that guy.
Yeah, but there was only a couple of scenes where the dogs were actually doing something. If you're gonna add in the dogs to be cool, okay, well,
It should have a laser on its back and shoot bullets out of its mouth.
it just walks or it runs through with a gas canister, just like throwing out smoke to all of them.
You say light up, and then the dog unzips a packet, and then just gas runs out, and then they throw a match over there, and bam, burn the bad guy alive. Ooh.
Yeah, that the Halle Berry fight with the dogs was just way too much for me. It was so long.
I don't have any opinions on that fight other than what I've said, except for one, which is that when the dog gets under her legs, that was another instance of like using actual like real life stuff
Yeah.
to impact the fight, because that's what dogs actually train. I've seen several clips of people training war dogs to go right underneath soldiers like legs, like right in between them, and then when he crouches down they'll hit the ground, and they're really good at it. It's really honestly impressive. And so I thought that was really cool. I wish they had done a little bit more of that. I mean, like, I just wanted to see her walk.
Wait,
with
what
this
even
dog.
happened to her?
She just drove away.
Oh, that's right, in the desert. That's right.
Which, okay, you don't need to be such a bitch about it. You don't need to offer him
Yeah,
the
water,
drink,
yeah.
drink it all, swish it around in your mouth for so fucking long. I'm bored. These dogs are drinking water, and then you spit it back. And like, no, you waste more of it than you spit back into the canister. I think that was the point, but like,
Well, she drank most of it.
the dogs drank most of it.
No, she was actually
She
like
should've
drinking, and then she kept the last mouthful.
It was just so rude because they could have gotten more water. They're going back to society. They could have gotten all the water they wanted.
Well, the point was
the
that
point was
he
that she
wasn't
did-
supposed to have water.
I know.
Like that's what he said, is that you have to almost die or something.
Well, yeah, but he'll keep walking. You just walk a little. That would have gotten him like maybe half a day more.
That was a boring scene too. I don't need montages in the desert anymore.
I know, right? Like, God, I've seen Indiana Jones before.
Yeah, it's just the worst version of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
too. Indiana Jones has so much actual story to it. You know, like
Okay, well, they're not trying to be Indiana Jones with this movie.
yeah, because they
They're
can't.
just in the desert.
Hey, people love Keanu. Keanu's got nothing on Harrison Ford. Come at me,
He has gray hair. That's all I can say.
Keanu.
No.
Oh.
What do you think I'm talking
I
about?
don't know. He's like, what was I gonna say? Yeah, well, and then he gets found by the camel guy in the desert, which, what?
I don't know. I'm thinking of that scene where I'm just like,
Are there wild camels anymore?
no.
Are they all domesticated? There's got to be some wild camels.
No.
There's wild horses.
I'm just saying, no camels exist. I'm telling you, there's too many people in the world for there to be wild camels.
There's got to be wild camels.
No, prove me wrong, but I am certain that they're not wild camels. Because we own all the water around the desert,
What?
so
Yeah, there's wild of all kinds of stuff. Kangaroos.
we don't domesticate kangaroos for anything. Why would we?
Are camels considered domesticated though?
Yeah.
I don't think. No,
They only spit on you.
Isn't there
That's-
a list? That's llamas. Isn't there a
Oh.
list of like only like 8 animals that are actually domesticated?
I don't know what the definition of domestication is.
That I
so-
saw a list of it where it was like they have to like listen to human commands and we provide like 95% of their food and water or something like that.
Jesus Christ, what a
It
weird.
was some sort of system I saw where, and there was only like 8 like cows, pigs, horses, cats, dogs. There like it was a list of like some
Pigs?
yeah pigs were domesticated.
You can give a pig a command. Fetch!
I mean they have like I don't know.
They have some IQ, I guess.
There's got to be some sort of there's got to be a wild camel.
Anyway, we've talked more about other things than we have about this movie.
It was just boring. It was so boring to me. I just got so bored. If it wasn't for like, well, you being there and recording this, I wanted to walk out.
Yeah, towards the end, I was really bored.
It was just because you knew what was gonna happen. They had to fight, and then like there was a twist. The manager shot him, but it's like he's gonna live.
Yeah.
Like it was just I don't know. It was a lot for me.
Yeah.
And the fight scene. Okay, why did the armed bodyguard things like the managerial staff like their bullets just bounce off, but then they actually
was
react
so
to Wick
stupid.
like shooting them? Like
Well-
when he would shoot them, they would actually like kind of react to it. But when the other people were shooting, it was just they would just bounce off and they didn't even react.
Because it's supposed to show that John Wick isn't just a normal man. His bullets hit harder than
He shoots
anyone.
bullets harder.
Well, you could argue that those trained staff weren't probably trained as well as
But they were
John Wick.
but he was shooting the body.
But what I'm saying is that he might have been. You could argue that he was hitting areas where it would shock you more to receive that
I'm
blunt
not gonna
damage.
go with that.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying I would argue that. I'm just saying that you could argue that.
Like
Also-
at least he was smart about lifting the helmet. Like that was
Yeah.
cool. That made sense. But I'm talking like just body shots.
It was
the
so
staff.
boring. That was so boring. That was my least favorite fight scene.
What?
Is this whole thing where these armored men have bulletproof vests to the point that no part is their whole body is just one big suit.
They're
of
just walking
one-
like Iron Man.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, listen, okay, you can't just. That's so ridiculous. It seems so stupid. And he was just sitting there, boom, 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 boom. He put like a clip into one guy, and then he'd like get up a second later, like, okay, now I'm gonna shoot you after Wicked Reloaded. Then he shoots him more.
Well,
and
that's what I mean. It's like that's
it's
what I was
just like-
talking about. The ammo counting. Like it's cool. Like we get to see him switch rounds. Like we never get to in action movies. But it's like you're still unloading, like you said, a full clip into that guy. Like just kick him or something, and then lift the helmet, and then use 2.
Yeah,
like,
he just was shooting these guys way more than he needed to. He just like shot like I remember one time. Yeah, remember the dude who in the water where he
that
shot
was
him
a
like
weird
5
scene.
times.
That was a really weird scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, if you had just got up to him and shot him, he wouldn't have had the chance to shoot you. I know
Yeah.
he was getting back to show like, oh, I know the range of bullets and like I know his
Well,
gun.
plus, don't they go further in water than that? That was
No.
only like 2 feet.
I'm pretty sure that the dampening. I don't know.
Like that
I
was
don't know
a
enough
short
about it.
distance.
That was really short.
It seems like they would go at least like 5 or 6, if I had to guess.
If
Because that's
I-
a lot of power.
If I had to guess, I would probably say that maybe if it was shot from outside of the water, but I have no idea. I'm not a bullet expert. And
And those are supposed to be like super high powered guns. Like I don't know. It seems like it would
Well,
have like.
I don't know what the
But it like went out and then instantly like dipped. Like.
yeah.
But it was I get it was supposed to show that he was smart and like. did
And
the
he's a
mapping
god.
and
The
then
bullet,
went up,
no, the bullet didn't stop because of the water. It stopped the raw magnetism of Keanu Reeves. It repelled the bullet. That's what it was
Yeah.
supposed to show there.
How did he take so many body shots when they were fighting, like fist fighting? He gets kicked and punched and hit so many times.
Remember it? Yeah, like remember in that like hallway of mirrors thing, the end scene where they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
where they go in there. I have another point about the ninjas, but like,
yeah.
you know, they just kept
samurais.
They kept kicking him into all those stands.
Yeah.
And then they'd wait for him to get up and kick him into another one. It's like,
Yes.
listen, I get it. Yeah, you don't care about the environment. I really don't care
that
that you
was
don't.
so boring.
You really don't care that these things get beaten up. I don't need to see 7 or 9 of them get destroyed.
Well, plus it seemed inconsistent. Why did some glass shatter on impact, but some were bulletproof?
Yeah.
Like
yes. Yeah.
Some would get slashed with knives, shot with many bullets thrown into, and then some they would get one push and they would shatter.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's not even just like the fact that like, oh well, the sides are bulletproof, but the bottoms aren't. That's not true at all, because he would get like lightly shoved and he's just go through one.
Plus,
of
it
these
was
things.
so obvious when he walks up to when it's like, oh, the manager will see you in the assistant lounge, and you see instantly the glass stairs. I'm like, the final fight's gonna be in here. Like, it's so obvious that they have to do some sort of reflection fight where it's like, oh, where's the villain?
Yeah, because what else was the reason for getting the room?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Plus, why, like you said about the ninja samurai guy, like, why was he the main villain? Like,
Yeah.
why that guy? Like, pick
And why
anybody.
was he like his John Wick's biggest fan?
Yeah.
But by the way,
That
Mr.
was-
Wick, can I get your
that was
autograph?
Awful. That was like.
It's like, listen, I can admire if the guy respects,
Yeah.
but don't be
yeah.
gushy. Like, by the way, I'm so excited
As
I'm
soon
gonna
as he-
meet you.
As soon as he sat down next to him, I thought he was going to sit down on the same couch, which is like, oh, like a power trip kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to
See,
sit away from
I
him.
agree.
But then right next to him, I was like, this just ruined this whole character for me. Like, he looked like a complete badass, and then he sits down right next to him, and I was like,
I thought that
something's
was
wrong.
an alpha move. I thought he was like, I'm
I
not
didn't
gonna
like
leave
it.
your side.
I didn't like
until I
it.
kill you.
It seemed like, what are you even doing? And then as soon as
It's like when the
he
guy takes
said-
the urinal right next to you, just to alpha you.
yeah, as soon as he said, like, I'm your biggest fan, I was like, okay, I'm gonna hate this. And then he went right back to being badass with the whole fight scene thing. But then, like, on and off, it was like cool
Yeah.
because he was fighting, and then it's like his ninja guys were fighting, and then he's just standing there like clapping and like a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Like, what is your character?
It's like-
Are you a
it's like
badass
pick one.
assassin?
Yeah.
Or are you a funny kind of like well trained guy? Like,
The thing is that they knew that the comedy, and they actually have comedy in these scenes. You know the part where like you know they both notice the knives on behind them in that one scene.
in the Morocco one with the clips are empty.
Yeah, where they're
Yeah.
all out of rounds.
Yeah, all
Those are
three.
just like light things that like draw you out of the fight scene, so it doesn't seem as long.
Yeah.
That
But
can
it
be
didn't work.
remedied
It
in a
didn't work.
different way. Pro tip, okay, directors, if you wanna tip about this, there's another way to make the fight scenes seem shorter. Make them shorter. Bam, right there. Boom. Genius idea. Have more of them. I don't care. Make him kill a guy in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then escape the rest of his goons.
See, that's the other
Just
thing.
do small things
That
like
was the
that.
other thing is like he doesn't feel, at least in this movie, I'm not going to compare it to the other two anymore.
Yeah,
at least in
okay.
this one, he didn't feel like a well-trained assassin. He felt like he knew judo or something.
Yeah.
And like he had guns. But like for the most part, he didn't seem very like methodically like planned out.
Yeah.
Like that's what I like about Bourne. He was for the most part very like well versed. He planned stuff out. There's a whole scene where he's sitting in one of those retractable billboards with the fins move, and that wasn't him actually. That was an assassin guy. But like he plans out how to avoid that guy, and like it's just all about him being smart. And this didn't feel like Wick was really smart.
Yeah,
It
he
felt
wasn't.
like he was just burning everything to the ground. Which
Yeah.
I get that's the whole point of this movie. But that's why I was bored. It's because it didn't feel
Yeah.
like much.
There was no
story to
drive.
it.
There was no
Yeah.
like methodicalness. Yeah.
There was no like.
It felt
plan.
senseless.
The ballet lady was just a super boring part.
Yeah.
We're just walking through this whole system thing, and then
No,
know.
it showed his origins, which I thought was cool. That this idea that like that's where he came from. That's how he learned all the shit.
yeah. But then it just got so. Wait, does he know ballet? Is that canon that he knows?
No,
ballet
I think
now?
he was in the other room. The one where they were
No, but
wrestling and
there was a guy in the ballet class.
yeah,
too.
but he was in the ballet class. He wasn't in the wrestling class.
I'm gonna say that John Wick knows ballet.
It's canon that John Wick is a ballet expert.
That was a cool
When the-
shots.
yeah.
With the blue light, and then the guys just walk in.
And then
That was
I
super
loved
cool.
the fact that none of them
Yeah, they didn't stop.
They didn't stop.
Yeah, because she didn't tell him to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
then
was
it
pretty
was
cool.
just surreal that like, who are these guys? Where did they come from? But none of them question. You don't see any of them
Yeah.
move. It's like they all close their eyes.
Well, and it was a good way of putting power into that lady's hands.
Yeah.
At the first girl, where she's like, keep going, like that kind of thing. So it was like, oh, they actually really like put
and you
power
see
into
that when
her hand.
they fucking burn that thing into his back. Which, by the way,
Oh yeah.
he would have passed out.
No, people get branded.
Not on your spine.
I think
That's right on your spine.
I think he'd be okay. He's John Wick.
Yeah, he's John Wick.
He
He's a
shoots
god.
bullets harder. And he's
Well,
seen.
the trick is that you actually have to push the gun when you fire, and it increases the velocity. Plus, bonus, if the bullet doesn't kill him, you just hit him harder. You hit them with a gun.
Oh, that was funny. Was that her? Was that Halle Berry where
I hated that
she
part.
threw the gun?
Oh yeah, that was
Was that
funny.
her? I couldn't remember if that was her or not.
I hated the part where she was bashing the gun against his head. It's like, are you out of bullets?
When?
It was in one of those when the dog was eating his crotch or something. I don't know. I lost track.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that.
Oh, it was
boss
just
guy.
before. It was just before the dog jumped on her back. She was beating the hell out of this guy
Oh, that's right.
with the gun, and it's
yeah,
like,
I think she was out of.
why don't you just have the dog, like, slice his
That's
throat?
what I meant. Like, have the dog do something.
Like, cut his throat off. You know, eat his, I don't know, head, face. I don't know.
But you
Aim
don't-
better.
You don't like queasy stuff, so you're
Bash
you
his throat in. I mean, I don't know. There's a bunch of ways to kill
You don't
someone.
like queasy stuff though. You want to see his throat ripped out.
I'm just saying.
You
be
couldn't
realistic
watch
about
the
it.
eye stab. I saw you look away
I
at the
couldn't.
eye
I
stab.
could not.
Yeah, it definitely looked like very fake CGI. I mean, there's no way around it, but it's like you could see it.
No,
you could
that was real.
you
He
could-
gave up his eye.
You could see it go digital for a second, and it's like most of the stabbings, you could tell it's like, I get it. There's no way around it, but I'm saying like it's just funny to see.
I would take a stab from
It's funny to
Keanu
see.
Reeves for this movie.
But yeah, in the samurai sword fight, like he didn't seem well trained with it.
Yeah.
It's just he seems sloppy, which I
Yeah.
guess is the point. He's retired and he's tired and
It's like
I'd be
you were
exhausted
better
too.
in the first two, so what's up with
Yeah, like I don't know. It was just
Yeah.
very boring to me for the most part.
Fight scenes were too long. There
So
wasn't enough
long.
drive in the story.
Especially the end. The end was just like, oh my god, like get over with it. And
Yeah.
then there's just so many twists and turns, and like everybody's double crossing each other. Like I don't know. It was just a lot. It was too much.
It was a lot.
I was bored.
It was exhausting to watch.
I could totally understand why somebody would like it, but
And I imagine a lot of people did.
it was just so much
It was just-
violence.
The thing is that they needed to start embracing a more well-rounded, plan. They needed to plan out a bit more of a story to this. I didn't like that he was not in charge. It made sense, but I didn't like that he wasn't in charge. I would have rather
Who's in
had
charge?
John Wick
Of what?
of just the story, where he's going, what he's doing. He had no choice. He just kept on going from the one person to the next to the next,
Yeah, that would help him.
pulling one favor after another. And it's like, listen, I get he's in a rough situation. Have him be in the planning seat for once, the
Yeah,
driver's seat,
yeah.
so that we see a little bit more of that planning,
Well, that's what I
methodical
thought.
killer.
I thought we were getting that out of the book too. Like it looked like he had a secret thing up his
That
sleeve.
would be cool.
Like it.
But it turned out it was just, hey,
Yeah, it was
a way to place his
the
fate
ticket-
in somebody
ticket
else.
to Mexico or something.
Yeah.
No, where's?
Morocco. Morocco's in.
Yeah, no, I know where Morocco is, but I can't remember what he said the city where they went. I don't remember what it was.
I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It did feel like it was just he was on some quest or something.
And it wasn't his decisions. He was all just going up with the flow, and it's like that's not what John Wick does.
Yeah.
John Wick's a hunter. Don't even lie. It's like, do what you do best, John.
Yeah.
Hunt. And well, okay, I get the first movie made sense when they did this shit where they had like him talk about the boogeyman, right?
Oh yeah.
The Baba Yaga, and that made sense because it was a cinematic scene. Don't just throw that shit into any time one guy says anything. Do just put Hunt on the screen. It's not cool. It's just lame because the quote's lame, and then you just make it lamer by putting this dumbass text in front of me. Fucking hell.
I didn't really mind the text. It doesn't really. Like...
It pissed me off. Cut it out. It's done.
No, cut the fights out.
Yeah, cut the fights out. I just want the text.
all the fights.
Put subtitles.
John Wick has no fights.
Mandatory subtitles in the whole movie. Everyone's words are bolded.
Just cut all the fights out. The whole John Wick movie is just him talking about it, like diplomatically sitting down in front of them and talking his way out of it.
Now, here's what's gonna
Wait,
happen.
can you imagine? That would shake up the whole thing. Everyone would go like, John Wick's gonna kill everybody. And then he sits down like with a little like notepad and he's like, here's why I want
Here's
back
10
into
reasons.
the Continental.
Here's why I don't want to be a trained killer anymore, a contract killer anymore. And they're like, oh, sounds good, okay. And then it's a romantic comedy of him trying to find a new wife, to replace his old one. But then
Barry. that's
That
kind of
bitch
a lame.
spit into
That's a
his
lame
face,
excuse too. I want to live to have that.
it was so
memory.
lame. That was not John
I thought
Wick. That was a
he
shell
should
of
have
a
just
man.
been like, He should have been, which I think is what, if I remember right, is what Bourne was saying. He's like, I'm living and doing this to burn it to the ground. Like, I'm gonna take down this society.
Listen,
and that's what I thought he was gonna do. I thought he was gonna go full rogue, which I guess is what they're leading to with the fourth with Lawrence Fishburne. But I thought they were leading to this movie was gonna be him taking down everybody.
The problem is they're de-emphasizing John Wick. It's John Wick. You don't de-emphasize John Wick. Because everyone else played a more impactful role into the overall story than John Wick did. That's a problem. A very large one. John Wick needs to be the one guy. That if you said, who was the coolest in this movie? John Wick. Should have been hands down.
Like Bourne is.
No one should be able to say anybody else. There should be no other characters that even come close.
Yeah. In Bourne, it's like there's maybe one or two that it's like, that guy was cool. But this is like...
Who's in control of the movie the whole time? John Wick. John Wick's the answer for every badass thing, question in this movie. Or it should be. But they played it out as though, who's the coolest? I don't know. Not John Wick. Probably.
I couldn't tell you who.
Who was doing the planning? Who was in charge of any of this shit? Not John Wick, definitely.
Yeah.
Who's probably going to... What's going to happen in the next movie? I don't know. John Wick's going to be in it. That's all I know.
So there's definitely going to be another one.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be another one. They made too much movie money from the whole franchise to quit it.
Visually, my favorite part was the motorcycle chase. That was a really cool... with the wide shots of them all. Like, the coolest shot, selected scene...
Oh, yeah.
A selected scene is when we pick our favorite like shot or scene in the movie that like is going to stick with us. I think it's when it shows him riding away on the bridge and then it zooms out to the other 6 guys chasing him and then they all at the same time unsheath their swords.
Yeah, like that was pretty cool.
That like 10 seconds was like so cool.
Yeah.
That one sticks with me. But then when it zoomed up into him actually doing the fighting, I was like, this is the cheesiest like, close up of him. Like, you would of course crash your motorcycle.
Of course.
Like, not a
There's
question.
no fucking question.
He's like smashing the guy's head into
his own,
Like,
and that's what I didn't make any sense at all. He was bashing people against their own handlebars, and then even though they got hit in the head, smashed the glass on their helmets.
The visor thing, yeah.
All of a sudden, they don't have glass in their eyes, and they're able to steer this thing still. Yeah, makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
My selected scene would probably be, I don't know, when, the first part of the movie where he comes out of the Continental and it's raining and he's disheveled.
Oh, I'm so sick of seeing that same scene.
I know.
The freaking Cadillac pulling up and like around the corner. It's the same shot every time. I don't need to see the same thing. I think it's a Cadillac. Don't yell at me if it's a different type of car. But it's the same thing. Like, it's just remapped with somebody walking down the stairs. Oh my god. Okay, what?
I'm glad you gotta get that
I'm
off
so
your chest.
sick of seeing that scene. They did it 4 times in this movie. They probably did it a dozen in the whole franchise.
Anywho, yikes. Whew, that was explosive. My selected scene is when he comes out, it's raining in New York, and he's running around disheveled, not knowing what to do or where to go. Because that was the last moment when I was entertained.
Because you didn't know what was happening. Like, you didn't know
you're
where
like,
he was gonna
wow,
go.
where's he gonna go?
And then he goes to the doctor, and he's like, oh, that's really cool.
No, it's the book first. Which is the problem.
But I mean,
book part just seemed cheesy.
The doctor part was cool because it actually shows
cool.
He was in control, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And then it actually had some weight to it because I didn't know when the timer was up, and it kept cutting back really well to like 5 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought I couldn't tell where it was going to go, if the doctor was going to try to kill him somehow.
I thought,
or if the doctor was just going to stop.
Yeah.
Or Wick was assuming that the doctor was going to kill him, and right as it hit, he would like punch him in the throat or something. So there was actually some like levity to it. And I was like, oh, what's going to happen? I thought like maybe the doctor. My first thought was the doctor was going to try to kill him, and then my second thought was that the doctor like laced the thread with something, so that as he's stitching him up, it'd be like
it'd be intense.
I know, but
like
then
poison?
the timer hits, and then as he's lacing him, it's like poison or something like that, and it goes into his bloodstream. Like, because then John would be like, wait, like I came to you for
You
help.
could have just told the medicine, hey, here's the medicine you should take.
It's
just rat poison.
That was dumb too. It's like they're gonna know I told you where the medicine is. It's like,
well, how else would they, like, obviously they have reaches into a lot more of the underground than, like, here's what I'm thinking, is that it shows the level of reach that the high table has to, like, maybe they bugged his place for sure.
But
it's like, maybe, they'd hear them conspiring, maybe somebody, like, everyone's always watching this doctor who comes out.
But then why have the doctor tell him where the medicine is? Like,
yeah, it seems stupid. He wasn't the smartest doctor. He got shot twice over just saying, no, John.
Yeah, it's on the top shelf. Boom, boom. Like,
Then you're going to have to shoot me in my gut and my chest.
I liked the interaction between them though, is where he was just like, he was like, as soon as the timer hit, he just stopped.
Yeah.
And then he's like, give it to me, and then he finishes it. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Where they just kind of stopped.
And then the movie became shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just so bored in the whole thing.
Well, I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to say about the movie, honestly.
See you guys at John Wick, chapter 4, exclamation point. No.
Something Latin.
Is Parabellum Latin?
Yeah, Parabellum is Latin. It comes from a Latin phrase, yes.
Well, it comes from a Latin phrase.
If you want
Latin.
Yes. Parabellum is the word in the phrase.
No. But just because it comes from a Latin root doesn't mean it's Latin.
No. It's Latin. It is Latin. Okay, it's a Latin phrase.
But you said it came from a Latin phrase.
It came from a Latin phrase. Yes. Parabellum is the Latin phrase. It says if you want peace, which is blah 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 something.
Yeah.
Parabellum. Parabellum is make war or something like that. God, how did that?
You said it came from Latin.
Yeah, I understand.
All of English came from Latin.
I'm upset that it happened.
Yeah.
I'm not upset with how we got here. Anyway, yeah, the fourth part.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in John Wick, chapter 4, the fourth part, exclamation point, gun emoji. Okay, well, if you guys want to let us know what you thought about John Wick, chapter 3, Parabellum, you can let us know at the email, themidnightshowingpod@gmail.com. Twitter is @showingmidnight. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is all the same at The Midnight Showing. So let us know what you thought. You're probably going to disagree with us. Or at least me. I specifically said I hated it.
Yeah.
So,
I think everyone will disagree with us.
yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
I think,
which is totally valid. Because
no,
I can understand.
They're wrong.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah.
You can alienate the audience.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Okay. Bye, guys.
See ya.